Hello and welcome to Soul GPS. This is Ava. Today I'm coming to you from Edinburgh, Scotland, which culminates a 10-day tour of the UK. I am exploring a move here to Great Britain. Not yet exactly sure to which city, but I have some ideas, and it's been a great trip for me. I will put at the end of this video some clips that I've taken from London, Nottingham, Newcastle, and Edinburgh. And I wanted to give a shout out to the people that I have been able to meet on this journey, some of which I've met thanks to this channel. So that's been really, really awesome. Thank you for your hospitality. And today I wanted to talk to you about a topic that's been coming up a lot lately, partly as a response to the last video that I posted, which was the 7 signs or the 7 factors that determine whether you are in a narcissistic relationship or a healthy relationship. And the questions are, how do I find a healthy partner? How do I find a good relationship? And they kind of go together. How do I avoid getting entangled with a narcissist? So I came up with 5 steps that I wanted to share with you. And these come as a result of my own discoveries, my own soul searching, in the hundreds now, conversations with people who have been through it and who have shared their experiences with me, and also my research. So this is what we're going to be diving into. Before I go there, I just wanted to announce again that I have a brand new program that's available through my website. It's called Unchained, and more information about it is down below this video, so you can click on the link. You have no obligation to purchasing the course. If you click on it, you'll just see a list of chapters. There are 12 chapters in the course that I've structured in a way to organically but also structurally guide you through the process of breaking your trauma bond, breaking the chain of your connection to the person that's been abusive. And as most of you know, if you can relate to this experience, it cannot be super hard to get it cognitively, meaning that it makes sense to you that this is a bad relationship, that you have to leave. But you keep coming back, sometimes multiple times, because on an emotional level, it's very difficult for you to detach. So what I did in this course is I went through very deep and thorough explanation of why this happens, and also guide you through breaking the chain on multiple levels, starting with the physical level, the mental, emotional, neurochemical, and finally spiritual, and give you pointers and practices that you can do in order to break those chains and move on with your life and meet a great partner. But first, you need to become a great partner to yourself. So this is a great option for someone who needs assistance, and it's really helpful to get a sense of community and feel like you're not the only person going through this, that there are other people who are there with you and you can help each other. And that's what's been happening in the Unchained community with the comments below each video. But at the same time, I know that working with a coach or a therapist can be pricey. So this is a much less expensive way to invest in your own healing and give yourself the ability to be a part of something larger, be a part of a community, and get some support. And I check in regularly in the discussion forum underneath each video. So I pop in and I'll give you some pointers and some individual word of advice and feedback. So if you're interested in that, you're more than welcome to come in and join. At least check out the chapters and see whether they resonate with you. Okay, so now I want to get into this video. So I wrote here 5 pointers, 5 areas to explore if you are interested in growing and really approaching this process of finding a good partner for yourself and avoiding narcissistic partners. And these are suggestions, but I think that if they're taken as a whole, they're going to give you a really good roadmap to coming out of these difficult relationships and actually entering something that feels nurturing, that feels empowering, and feels safe. So I want to start by saying that most relationships don't work out. Statistically, this is the case. It's like that around the world. It doesn't matter which country, which culture, which gender, what's your sexual orientation. Looking at your own biography, if whether you are in a relationship now or if you're single, all the relationships you've been through did not work out. That's not a bad thing. We learn from each one of them, including the one that we had with a narcissist. There are lots of lessons to be mined in this relationship. There's lots of growth to go through. But what I found in my own experience and in the experiences that have been shared with me over the course of the last few years is that the number one prerequisite to having a good relationship is having a good relationship with yourself. And there's no shame in being single for some time, because that's really what's required to having a good relationship with yourself. It's very difficult to really truly connect with yourself and find yourself and discover yourself when you are in a relationship with another person. It's possible, but it's much, much harder. So if you find yourself now being single, I would say that that's a great opportunity to be mined. So I want to encourage you to do exactly that, to really enjoy it and to really honor this process, because at some point soon you are going to meet a person, someone's going to show up. For that, you are going to have to move out of your comfort zone and actually put yourself in new situations, but more about that in a moment. So I have my 5 pointers here, and the first one is be you from the start. Don't pretend to be someone else. Don't try hard, and don't try to be perfect. So it's kind of many points in one point, but it really speaks to, I think, what happens when we really take this growth seriously. And again, the thing that is so common when we get into relationships with narcissistic people, and what actually in some ways can draw the narcissism out of these people, is when we try to behave in a way that we think is expected of us. We need to cut this pattern. That's such a toxic pattern. It's trying too hard. It's trying to be too perfect. It's something we probably picked up in our families or in other relationships. Some of us maybe are very idealistic romantics, and we think that by behaving the way that we see, couples behave in Hollywood movies, we're somehow going to get more out of our partners. We're going to show them how amazing we are. Maybe it comes from having received a lot of negative feedback in the past, having been through a lot of rejection, and having been shamed, right? Like, these are, unfortunately, this is a part of a human experience, and what we do with it is really up to us, and it's going to determine the quality of our future relationships. So part of the healing journey is to be able to separate your true value from the value that's being assigned to you by other people. Everybody's looking for something from others, and everyone on some level has a bit of an exploitative approach. We're all looking for something that we need, and there's nothing wrong with it, but the way we approach it is really important. So figuring out, who you are and showing up in your life in a way that is very authentic, I think is very much a prerequisite to having a good relationship. Authenticity, working on that. But you can't really become authentic if you're going from one relationship to the other without a solid break in between, where you can really explore what that is and learn to be unapologetically yourself. And that's a process to get to that point. It's a place where you just are who you are and you're proud of it. When you enjoy yourself the way you are, when you don't need any validation or positive feedback from your environment. And the funny thing is that the moment you don't need it, when you don't really care about it, you're going to actually get it. Because when you show up authentically and humanly with your flaws, by not being perfect, but just being you, you're going to notice that other people relax around you, and they will drop their own pretenses, and you get to know them from a much more genuine place, and they will enjoy being around you. But again, that takes some time of getting to know yourself, of getting to be comfortable with yourself, and not worrying about making mistakes, not worrying about doing things imperfectly. So again, that's pointer number 1. I think that's the most important step, and that is to be yourself from the start of this new relationship, whoever you meet, whether it's a friend, whether it's somebody you just meet on your journey. Like I have been on this trip. I've met so many great people, and one of the most amazing takeaways I will bring back home with me are that I've been just fully me. You know, I've showed up in a way that is as authentic as possible, not trying to be flawless. Something I used to do in the past. You know, I wanted to show up best way I can, and this time I'm just me. And you either accept me the way I am, or you don't, and that's okay. But at least we know who we are. You know, and again, not pretending, not trying too hard to impress other people, not trying to be perfect, just being you, whoever you are. So that's pointer number one. Pointer number two is, if you're meeting someone new and you're actually enjoying the rapport you're having, you need to give them and yourself time so that you can see whether you can really trust that person. So instead of trusting them completely from the start, which was typically the old way of building relationships, the new way is let them earn it. Give yourself time, you know. A little bit of reticence in the beginning is okay, a little bit of distance. So you lean in, you have an interaction, and then you'll lean back out, and you give yourself the time to reflect on, you know, how was your interaction, and give yourself some time to evaluate it. And even when the chemistry is strong, and especially if the chemistry is strong, don't jump in with both feet. Stay away. It's like a dance. When you dance with a partner, you come really close, you feel each other, and then you move away. You give yourself time to really evaluate. And I don't mean it analyze, although you can do that too. But I mean like intuitively give yourself some distance to know, like, okay, how do I feel about this person, right? When I'm not so close, you know. And of course, look for red flags. Notice how you feel around them. Do they make you feel less than? Do they make your wounds flare up? Do they try too hard to impress you? Right? These are all things to pay attention to. But you can't really see any of that if you jump in with both feet very quickly, and you give them all the trust, and you let your fantasy mind to begin to build already a future screenplay for your movie together. It's okay to have that. Like in some ways, it's almost automatic. Like we can't stop it. Our mind just wants to go there. Like, wow, I had such a great time with this person. What else can we do together? Just know that most likely it's not going to be like that, because the way we imagine a future, it's never the way it actually happens. So give it some distance. Just know, oh, okay, I'm doing that. Okay, I'm imagining this, but don't again, fall into it completely surrendering. You want to be strong and rooted and grounded in your reality. Enjoy this interaction, but know that it's a part of your wheel of life. You know, it's like if you take a chart, in life coaching, we study this, right? You take a chart and you divide it into sections. One of which is your health. Another one is your career. Another one is your sense of purpose. Another one is your finances. Another one is your relationship with your family. Another one is your sense of belonging. And then finally, there is the relationship. Notice that the relationship doesn't underlie the quality of your life. It's not the sense of it. It's a part of it. So treat it as such. It's part of your life. It's an addition. It's not the main thing. The main thing is the relationship you have with yourself, and figuring out balanced approach so you have everything as much as possible aligned. Of course, life moves like a river. Things change. Sometimes you're going to feel like you are really succeeding in one area of your life. Another time, things are going to just start to fall, and we need to learn to attend to different parts of this pie. But overall, you want to have balance. But make sure that you don't treat the relationship as, the thing that's more important than you, because it isn't. It's when you feel like you have a good grip on your life that you will start to have really successful relationships, especially with romantic partners. So take your time, give it time to build trust, give it a few months, and another thing, this may feel old-fashioned. I don't know. I am, I guess, a little bit old-fashioned, but hold back on sex, especially if you're a woman. I talk about this a lot in my Unchained program. I actually go a little bit deeper into this topic because even from a physiological standpoint, when you look at it the way we're built, when a man and a woman have a sexual intercourse and they walk away, it's like the man doesn't necessarily walk away with part of a woman inside of him, but a woman does, if you know what I mean. You know, there's a trace that's left, and it will make you feel more bonded, and it will make it harder for you to have that distance. And plus, I think it is just, there's something really nice about organically getting to know somebody and allowing that last physical contact to be the sort of the culmination, the last kind of threshold that you cross. And how beautiful, is it, can it be when you really gotten to know this person? You really feel like you have, they have earned at least some of your trust, because, it takes years sometimes to really fully get to know somebody. I'm not talking about waiting years, but give it a couple months, 2, 3, 4 months. If that person really likes you, they will wait for you. And this way, the detachment is not going to be as difficult, because if you're not physically, really something happens on a chemical level when you physically engage in that way. It will be easier if that person isn't appropriate, if they start to devalue you as a result of you saying, no, I'm not ready yet, right? But at the same time, if you meet a quality person, they're going to value you even more for that. So, I'll leave it up to you, but consider that. So give it time, give some reticence, especially if the chemistry is very strong from the start. Look for red flags, observe, and notice how you feel around them. Do you feel better as a result of the interaction? Do you feel more fulfilled? Do you feel happier? Or do you feel that addiction kicking in, that, oh my God, I can't live without them, right? Or is it more balanced? Is it more settled? And also notice and observe the interaction you're having on your mobile device, texting, making calls. Make sure that you still have your life, that they don't, overwhelm you with these messages. And also you're not feeding into that pattern, right? That is so common with a narcissist, when they're just bombarding you with messages to the point where you feel so hooked, like if you don't hear from them, you feel like something's wrong, like your world is falling apart. So don't fall into that pattern. You dictate the pace, and the slower the pace, the better. Point number 3, this is something that is so obvious and so incredibly simple, but it's elusive. It's hard to see. And this is something that I want to give credit to my friend Annetta, who I met in London just a few days ago. We walked in the Hyde Park for hours, and we talked about these pointers, these things, and we stumbled upon this together. But I did want to give her credit because this was a co-creation. So point number 3 is basically, be the one to choose your partner. Don't be the one who's chosen. Don't wait to be chosen by the person. Be the one who chooses. Be the one who is doing at least some of the pursuing yourself. Because pretty much in all the cases that I've worked with my clients, and in my cases, every time I was aggressively pursued by a partner, it turned out to be a toxic relationship. In most cases, actually all of the cases, I didn't even want to be with those people. And I hear that a lot from my viewers and a lot from my clients. Like, I didn't even like this guy, or I didn't even like this girl. She just wouldn't stop until it got to the point where I got addicted, right? So pay attention to that. Whereas in the cases where I was the one who did the evaluation, when I was the one who noticed the partner, the potential partner, and I was the one who sort of was a little bit more proactive, but not in a narcissistic way, but in a way that was just, there was a little bit of that proactivity. I was the one choosing. I was the one choosing the guy. All these relationships were actually good, and I'm in touch with these people still to this day, and they're good friends. So it was like an obvious pattern. So I wanted to share that with you. And she confirmed it was very similar for her. So don't wait to be chosen. Don't be super passive and just like wait for somebody to come around and choose you and pick you. Be the one who participates also in the process. Point number 4, be in the moment. Don't rush with the future, because it will cloud the truth and cause projection. So this is about the future faking, about the fantasy projection. When you're with this person, don't observe your mind. It's going to want to do this. It's going to want to pull you into the future and create these projections, especially if you had, say, a really nice time with this person you just met, and the next day you're in this longing state. You're like, oh, this was so nice, I want to have it again. And then you're exchanging text messages, so you're maybe setting up another date, and you're just like, oh, imagining what it's like to be married to this person and the things that are possible. When you see that, just look at it and go, oh, okay, I'm doing this again. It is going to pull you away from organic unfoldment of where this relationship really could go. And it's going to make you be the person who's also boxing it in your own projection. And then if you add to it a projection from the other person, the relationship is going to start feeling really weird and uncomfortable very quickly. So the mature approach is, you're going to do this. Your mind is going to do this. There's no way to go around it, to stop it. But just notice it and say, oh, okay, my mind's doing that. I'm letting it go. I want to let this relationship unfold naturally. And also, this way you're going to have a much better perspective of what it really is in the moment, in the present moment, versus what you think it will be, or what you want it to be, or what you think it should be, right? And also observe your past coming into the present moment and projecting based on what happened to you in the past onto what can happen with you in the future. So you're doing active growth work, active healing work as you are engaging with this new person. So this could be incredibly valuable. It's a great skill to bring into everything you do in life. Try not to project, try not to force things down a path just because you want it. Instead, let it unfold. Keep that little bit of a detached point of view. Stay grounded with yourself. Remember that the wheel of life has many more elements in it than the relationship, and tend to those things. Be an active participant in your own evolution. And finally, point number 5, it says, date multiple people. Do not commit to one person unless you have a strong reason for doing so. So you want to give yourself, again, that time, that buffer zone, couple of months. Ideally, you don't engage sexually during that time, because I feel like, and this is my, you may disagree, but I feel like once you do that, it is a form of a commitment. It is a strong statement that says, I really like you and I want this to go to the next level. Versus if you don't do that, there's much less hard feelings, much less karma. And I like the idea of dating multiple people, just so you give yourself the perspective of being able to compare what's your experience with this person versus what's your experience with that person. This is not exploiting. This is not about promising 5 people that you're going to be with them and then feeling bad because you have to drop them, or doing it the narcissistic way, right? This is more about, in a non-committal, easygoing, light fashion, making new friends, expanding your social circle, going to a bookstore together, going to get coffee, maybe a lunch, maybe a dinner, maybe doing a walk. And it doesn't have to be 20 people, it can be 2. And I think 2 is healthy for empaths, because as empaths, we tend to do what? We tend to fall into new relationships so quickly. And this, for me, has been personally a really great way to buffer my own tendencies of doing that. So just in the recent months, I have met quite a few very interesting people, and I've made friends. I haven't fallen into new relationships, but I'm making friends. And it's so nice to have these interactions, to learn from the new men that are showing up in my life about, just who they are, and then not project that romantic, feeling onto them, and instead just letting it unfold. But I guarantee you, if I went down the myopic path and my mind was going there, I caught it, and was going when I met, one of the first very interesting men on my path that were just like, wow, what a great interaction. And I was like, no, I'm not going to fall into it. I'm going to step back and I'm going to see where it organically goes. And where it went organically is towards a friendship. And so now for the last few months, I've had excellent interactions with this person, and then I met another one, and then another one, and it's like, I'm feeling such a new level of fulfillment by having more male friends in my life, that I'm not sexually engaged with, that they're just my friends, and it's giving me so much of a broader perspective about what I want, and in my own life. So. And I am convinced that it's going to be a matter of time when the right person shows up, and I'm going to have those feelings when I feel like, okay, this is really special, and I'm going to approach it in such way. So this is a little bit of my personal, I tend to not, share it too much, but I wanted for you guys to let you know that there's nothing wrong with having a lot of male friends or female friends, and taking it easy and taking it slow, and not falling hard for somebody after you just met them. It's something you practice. It's something you learn. And I think it's a very valuable skill. So these are my 5 pointers. I hope that they're helpful to you. They're not cut and dry. There's still a lot of growth involved in following this roadmap. So ideally, you found something there for yourself. If any of you watched it and feels like transcribing what those points are underneath in the comment, that would be awesome. Also, sharing your own experiences is always more than welcome. So for now, I'm going to say my goodbyes. Again, big warm greetings to you wherever you are around the world from Edinburgh. I'm going to go and explore the town now, and I'm sending you big hugs. Bye-bye. Take care, and I'll see you next time. I am at the hotel where J.K. Rowling wrote the last installment of Harry Potter.